Number 9 from the Common Communication Manual, persuade with power. This intro may be short and vague, but his speech is titled, Set the Example. Danielle, time will be 5 to 7 minutes. Please welcome Stuart.
Good morning, Toastmasters, guests.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks. Today I want to talk about a topic that affects every single one of us on a daily basis. This is a topic that puts all of our lives at risk, whether you're guilty of it or not. This issue causes 1.6 million car accidents every year and over 390,000 injuries just last year. I'm talking, of course, about texting and driving. Kids are growing up in the technology age right now, and they are absolutely glued to these things. They're checking them nonstop, whether it's text messages, social media. They can't put these things down. And it's an issue that affects not only the youth, but also old people, elderly.
Yeah, thanks.
Careful.
So millennials are the most likely culprits, but they're not the only ones that have become addicted to their cell phones. And people across all age groups are guilty of checking their cell phones while they're behind the wheel, and it's extremely dangerous. There's been a lot of dialogue about this issue, but a lot of people still tend to check it because they're behind the wheel, because they either think that they're one of the good drivers that can multitask, or they just don't think it's as dangerous as everyone talks and everyone says it is. A recent study showed that 20% of fatal teen accidents are caused because of texting and driving. A lot of teens are aware of this issue and they know it's very dangerous, but 1/3 of them admit to texting and driving anyways. And that's just the number that admit to it. You know, if 1/3 admit to it, it's probably a lot higher than that. I've always been pretty adamant about not texting and driving, but last January I had an incident that really increased my conviction for this issue. I was on my way back from Raleigh. I'd been helping coach a wrestling tournament, and it ended pretty late at night. It was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, so by the time I made it back to Hampstead, it was around midnight. It's pretty dark going through Hampstead. They don't have nearly as many street lights as here in Wilmington. So I was driving through, and I noticed something on the edge of the road. I thought it might have been a sign. It was just something white right on the edge of the road, and I was like, man, that's pretty close. Who put a sign that close to the road? So as I got closer and closer, I was slowing down, really looking closely at it. And then I realized it was moving. I said, oh, it's a person. And I realized they were walking there's only one bar in Hampstead, and they were walking from the bar to the McDonald's. And they were right on the edge of the road, and I was looking close, and all of a sudden I realized they were kind of stumbling towards the road. And then noticed the car put her hands out, fell down on one knee, still had her hands out, and fell right into Highway 17 in front of my car at midnight. Luckily, I was able to slam on my brakes. I stopped just in time, jumped out, picked her up, put her on the edge of the road, and realized that she must have been on pills and drinking and who knows what else. She could barely talk. But I know that if I had my cell phone in my hand, that couple-second delay would have been the difference between life and death. So I've been a very strong advocate ever since, and I've been a lot more vocal about telling people not to text and drive, because I've realized how dangerous it is and how quickly it can affect the course of a person's life. Researching the topic, I found several different solutions for how to stop texting and driving. Some of the solutions I think are better than others. One of the solutions they talked about was putting X on your thumbs. I think this one's more for the millennials, for young kids. So when you look down, it's like, oh, I have an X on my thumbs. I shouldn't be texting and driving. I can see how that would work. I can see how that'd work. You look at it and you make the association and say, oh no, I really shouldn't be doing it because they're addicts and they can't stop themselves. Another solution was to turn your phone off. You can place your phone in the trunk. I don't think a lot of people are going to do that, but that would certainly be a good solution to the problem. You can sign the pledge just to show your level commitment. They have that pledge against texting and driving going around the internet, and certainly that could help just to make the mental connection and show that your allegiance to it. My favorite solution is just to pull over to the side of the road for a minute, quick pull into a parking lot, park, check your phone, quick send all the messages you need to send, and then pull right back out and keep driving. It's a little bit inconvenient, but it's safe, and then you're able to focus on the message, quick send it out, and it doesn't take you nearly as long to send it. Like I said, this is a problem that doesn't just affect you if you're the one that's guilty of it. A lot of the time it's dangerous because other people on the road are guilty of it, and they might run into you, or maybe you're riding in a car with somebody that's texting and driving, and that can also be very dangerous. So my recommendation for that is just to slap them in the face. No, but seriously, for safety reasons, you're going to want to do it at a stoplight. Or you can just kindly ask them, hey, you want me to send out that message for you? Hey, you need a quick hand? Do you need me to send that for you? And that's kind of a subtle way to just say, stop texting and driving. Certainly nobody in here is guilty of texting and driving. So I want to challenge you, all of you, to be a little bit more vocal about the dangers of texting and driving. Whether it's your kid, a parent, one of your friends, find that offender in your life and just express to them your concerns and let them know how they can stay safer behind the wheel.